Hey, what's up, everyone? This is KP on Dee's Talk. I get to interview Dee this time because last time she interviewed me about my adventure and my relationship with my the interracial relationship and my style. So now today I get to ask Dee these amazing questions on D Talk. This is section part 4. So let's have a conversation with Dee and let's make it sexy and spicy. And she's gonna put a little pop into that the conversation here. So Dee, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in once again. I decided to sit outside because it's a beautiful day and tell you a little bit about my own story and relationship.
Absolutely. So let's get to the meat of things. That's what everybody's waiting for, the story. So tell me, what has your experience been with this so-called interracial relationship? Not only that, but also things that you have faced. Maybe tell me some stories. Maybe you faced certain things, the obstacle or racism that you've gone through in your journey in your life. So share those information with the audience from us. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to keep you because I could definitely write a book about it, but I'm going to give you a few different scenarios of things that have happened to me over the years that has just been wild. Truthfully, pretty much in all of my relationships, anyone that I've dated outside of my race quite a bit. And in every relationship, there's some issue, whether it's the mom, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, somebody's had a problem with the mixing. So let's just start at the beginning. In junior high, I met this guy who later became my husband. But my first experience with racism and interracial relationship was with him. He was Armenian. Of course, I'm West Indian. And his parents were not having it, not even close. We dated for a long time. All through junior high, high school, off into college. We got engaged against their will. And my ex-husband at the time was still living at home. When his mother found out that we got engaged against her wishes, she threw all of his things outside on the front lawn and told him to come get it. And he had to move in with me and my parents.
Wow, that is some story. So now from that experience, so that's your first experience. Now
that's my first experience.
Now continue on with your story. What happened after that? Let's look at it. It's getting juicy. So let's continue this.
So he came to live with us. My parents are very accepting. I come from a family that has a lot of different shades of colors in it, right? So we don't discriminate. We are not racist. We do not judge. We love everyone the same. And that's the way that I was brought up and raised. And I'm thankful for that, right? So as time went on and we started talking about weddings and things like that, they did help with the wedding. But on my wedding day, my mother-in-law to be said, she's laughing now, but she's going to be crying later. And that was the truth. I definitely was crying later. But what I realized is within the Armenian community, and this is back before Kim K made being Armenian and being with Black men like a thing and made it okay across the world, due to the genocide, Armenians, from my experience, they want to create more people for their bloodline. They do not like mixing because they want their race back. They want it to be back in full force, full effect, and they don't want it watered down by anything else. So she never wanted us to have children. She went to psychics and did all kinds of voodoo and hoodoo and all kinds of spells on me. It was just an absolute nightmare.
So now from that perspective, so that's moving on, and then, how long was that marriage? May I ask?
So we were married, I believe, for about 3 years, but together for like 13 or 14.
Wow.
And we had to fight every day to be together, every day to still love each other. It was just, they couldn't see past color. They couldn't see past it. I was speaking the language, cooking the food, showing up to events, and they couldn't handle it. I could dance the Armenian dances with the best of them. They couldn't handle it. Eventually, they wanted to pretend like they were okay with it. And I would come to the house, but I always felt like I was, the maid, like her friends, my mother-in-law's friends would come over and then I'd be doing the dishes and cleaning up after everybody. I never felt like I was truly accepted or a part of them. And of course, she was a strong woman, and most strong women, including myself, never like to lose, but she lost to me because I still had her son. Eventually she won, right? Because we got divorced. But that was my first lesson in interracial relationships, to do with racism and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving forward after that relationship, after that marriage has expanded, now you're moving on, trying to adjust your life, trying to be, fabulous who you are in the modeling
Right.
world, actress, trying to make yourself. And now you get into another relationships or around, even with then, how do you felt, like other people, even let's talk about that. How about the people of like even in the community, like, other folks that not within that maybe the white culture or the, yeah, I know you talk about, you also face those kind of racism as well too. So I want to hear that.
Yeah, I remember one time with my ex-husband, we went to Barbados, where we're from, and it was during Carnival crop over season, right? And I remember going to, they had like, now today we do like taco trucks, right? But back then, because this is over 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, back then, they would have like little stands and people would be cooking food, during Carnival. And you could get fried flying fish or, fresh seafood or whatever. And I remember going to get something to drink, a rum punch, and some food. And I was there with my cousins, and a man came up to me and said, "How dare you? Shame on you. You're Nefertiti, and you bring this person here on our island." And I was just so appalled and in shock because my family is so open.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that I would experience something like that, where we come from, because in Barbados, there's Arabs, there's Asian, a lot of East Indians, and then we have like how in America, we have Native Americans, different types, in Barbados, we do too. We have the Arawak Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, Africans, West Africans. So it's a mixture of people, but that man was not having it as well. And so that was really the first time I saw that from Black people, so to speak, where it was like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you, you're so beautiful. Why aren't you with somebody of your own race? Why aren't you uplifting our race, is the way that I took it and the way that I felt. But truth be told, all my life, Black men never, ever approached me. Anywhere I've gone and I've been single, it's never been someone who is Black. It's always someone outside that race, whether it's Hispanic, Asian, Indian, that kind of thing, and mostly white.
That's very interesting. And let me ask you, why do you think, you say it's a hard to approach you? What is it you feel or think that happens? I mean, this is an opinion. Why do you feel that they can't approach you?
I'm not really sure. I don't know. I really don't know. I think that I'm pretty reasonable. I'm very outgoing. I love people. So I don't really know why I was never really approached by men from my own race, but it just never happened. And then, of course, being from Fresno, California, as you know, it's so diverse. It's like the #5 most diverse city in America.
Absolutely.
And so I went to school with a lot of people of different races. And so I was used to that. And again, I wasn't raised to see color. And I was raised to see people. So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's always interesting for sure. Now, moving forward, now as you are, living your life, doing all those things, and there's so many obstacles. Like I know other stories that you want to share that you also face in relation, especially with parents, especially about the story you mentioned about his grandparents. Your last the relationship you had about that situation.
Oh my gosh!
Please, juice it up.
So I moved forward. I moved forward from the ex-husband and all that stuff. And so the next major relationship that I become a part of, where I have issues, racial issues, the parents are great. They're accepting, they're loving. We go over for dinner. My mom comes over for dinner. I'm accepted by the siblings. And the minute that the grandparents find out that this guy that I'm dating is dating a Black girl, they freak out and start threatening, and we're not going to give you your inheritance. You know, I can't believe you're doing this to us. And they actually want to try to set him up with their neighbor's daughter. Okay. So, you know, a lot of times too, in these situations, when you're dealing with racism within families, you have to stay strong. And he just wasn't that strong at that time. And we went through a lot of different things to do with the grandparents. Anytime he went to the grandparents' house, you know, I wasn't going. I wasn't invited. And I started to get really resentful and angry because, you know what, I'm human too. I'm a person, I have feelings just like they do. What makes you think that you're better than me? Or anybody for that matter? There's beauty in every race and in all colors, shapes, sizes. So that really bothered me. It's funny though, to this day, he remarried and he's married to a Black girl and just had a baby and all of that. But it was after the grandmother died. So he didn't really have to deal with the same things that was going on while we were together. But that was just a very strange thing.
So yeah, that's it's always interesting. It's always complicated. It's like, you know, the parents loves you, but then the grandparents, because whether financial, whatever it may be, that situation. So like now you're dealing with all this. I mean, you've gone like relationships are always strange, especially like I'm supposed to be in love with this person. I'm supposed to spend time with this person, but then you got the family involved and the cousin and the relatives, you know, be the whole big shebang, you know. I don't know if you want to talk about your current situations, but you know, whether or not
I can definitely talk about my current situation.
Yeah, like we're moving on now. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about the present. We don't have to talk how you met, whatever it is now, because now the beautiful things about it is like you've got beautiful children involved.
Thank you.
And that is why I want to.
So
that's why
I'd like to think so.
That's where I want to hear your story and regarding now that your children, now they're facing that other family and how you know how they're receiving and yet you are a mother, a bear, you know, protecting your cubs and seeing that. So tell me those stories.
So when it comes to my current relationship, my husband's father passed away a few weeks before my oldest son, Kennedy, was born. Prior to that, though, I never felt any kind of racist anything. He was really sweet, a little crazy, but sweet, accepted me, you know, would tell me how beautiful I am and how beautiful the children would be and that kind of thing. So I didn't really have any issues with the father. My husband's mother, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like she's racist, but I'm not 100% sure. We have a lot of other issues, you know, with her. There's a lot of layers of things that have happened within the family that have nothing to do with racism. But sometimes I feel that some of the issues are connected to race because my children are not treated the same way as the other grandchildren. You know, she doesn't remember birthdays. She doesn't call on holidays. And we've, you know, recently kind of cut her out of our life. But I can't say that there's like a specific incident with the parents that made me say, okay, you're 100% racist. It's just like a feeling that I get. However, he has an aunt and an uncle who, you know, has helped them throughout their lives and different things like that. And one of his cousins lives here in Arizona where we do. And we kind of started getting close to the aunt and the uncle and the cousin. And you know, for me, it was really important because my kids are half white. And I don't ever want them to feel like they have to choose a side or be confused or think like, oh, you know, like my white family doesn't love me. They don't like me. Like, I don't want to start all of these feelings of not being wanted, you know? And that's what happens in little kids. So needless to say, we started getting close to his mom's sister because they kind of have a little bit of a strained relationship as well. I don't think his mother liked that very much, but oh well. And so the cousin that lives here had a girlfriend, and they would come and they would visit periodically at the house, that kind of thing. And my mom and I, we're hosts. West Indian people, if you've ever been to a West Indian home and they've invited you,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to host it to the max. We have 3-4 course meals. We have all the alcohol you could possibly think of to drink. We've got desserts.
No,
We're
I can
playing games.
attest and witness that because I've been there, and the feast that your mom made, you know, we had a nice gathering and our friend came over. Absolutely. But please continue on. This is getting a little more juicy, and I'm getting a little spicy here. Getting a little spicy.
Now this is the spiciest
Yes,
one,
yes,
and it's
absolutely.
going to be really baffling. And all of you viewers out there, if you have any comments about this or any ideas of why this happens or what these people were thinking, please DM me so we can talk about it more. But I'm going to give you the short version. I just had my daughter, Eris. She's the last of 4. And his aunt and uncle, or not his aunt and uncle, I'm sorry, his cousin's brother was coming into town and we wanted to see them. So we invited them over for dinner. So now it's his 2 cousins plus the cousin's girlfriend, the 3 of them. They come over. My mom and I have been standing on our feet for like 8 hours to make this amazing meal. And so, you know, I asked the girlfriend if she could hold my daughter for a minute because she was kind of getting a little bit cranky while I'm chopping onions for my mother. And she kind of seemed like she didn't really want to, but did it anyways, right? And then as soon as the baby started really crying, she gave the baby to his cousin, who was like in love with her. Long story short, we have this great meal. I think everything's great. And we're moving forward. So a few days later, we're going to now a going away party for the cousin's brother at their place. And we're drinking, we're at the pool. There's like, it's a whole pool party. There's several people there. From there, we decide to leave the pool party and go upstairs and take shots and hang out inside their apartment for a little while. So the girlfriend says to me, "You know why we don't visit you very often?" And I said, "No, I don't know why you don't visit us very often. Like, we would love for you guys to come over. Like, we adore you guys." She said, "Well, because you do too much whenever we come over, and that makes us feel uncomfortable." And I said, we do too much? What do you mean by that? Like, what are you trying to say?" And she says, "Well, you know, you're just overdoing it. And we just want you guys to just, you know, sit and relax and blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, you know what? Culturally, that's not what we do. And we enjoy hosting. We enjoy doing these things." I mean, it's kind of weird. Like in my mind, when she was saying it, I'm like, well, do people invite you to their home and don't offer you water or food or appetizers or something? I mean, I've never been invited to a home where there's nothing there. So I was kind of taken aback by all of that. But yeah, so she kept going with it. And I said, you know, well, this is kind of like cultural. It's West Indian way. We're going to roll out the red carpet, especially when it comes to family coming over to the home, right? And people that we don't see every day. And she said, so I said to her, you know, well, that's the West Indian way. And she said, well, I'm not West Indian, I'm American, and you need to be more American.
Wow, wow. She said that like, no.
Yes.
For me,
and I wasn't the only Black person there when she said it.
Uh-huh.
It was me and 2 other girls. One girl there was half white, half Black. The other girl that was there was also West Indian, but from a different country. And we were both appalled and disgusted with her behavior. And at that point, in that moment, I said, you know what? To me, being more American, whatever that means, she's racist.
Mm-hmm.
She's absolutely 100% racist. And then later on, I found out that she was angry that I asked her to hold the baby the week prior, calling my baby an it, talking about how she hates my children, all of these things. And for me, I'm like, if this is the way that you truly feel, why do you come over to my home? Don't come to my house and eat my food and drink my drinks and talk all kinds of shit later. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. After that, the next day, I called Jason's cousin and I said, this is unacceptable. I can't have this in my life. I'm going to be pissed for a very long time. You know, I couldn't believe it. So a few hours later, I get a text message from her. And within the text message from her, of course, is an apology, right? Because now she knows she's really messed things up.
Mhm.
Cat's out of the bag. She doesn't like Black people.
Mhm.
But regardless, she denies being racist. She denies parts and bits and pieces of what she said. However, she couldn't remember the things that she was saying. So she's, talking about alcohol and how, she doesn't drink vodka very often because these types of things happen, which to me is an absolute cop out.
Absolutely.
It's not the alcohol. To me, if you say those types of things when you're drunk, you mean it. That's how you truly feel. Sometimes when you're drunk, you say stuff that you don't mean, but not when it comes to race, not when it comes to that's like a deep seated something within herself that came out in that moment. And she said exactly what she meant. She said exactly how she felt and expected me to just deal with it.
Wow. That's a story, because that's harsh, because we all faced various of situations that's in family terms, especially in our later in our life, like kids, we felt that, but as an adult, we're still facing it and dealing with those situations, circumstances. So Dee, I know that you just talk about the situation, Jason's cousin. How did you deal with this situation? Tell us how you dealt.
So listen, people make mistakes. That's 100% true, right? But when you're talking about race, I don't feel that a lot of comments that are made are typically mistakes. So for me, and my own peace of mind and my own sanity, and also to protect my children, I just decided that I can no longer have a relationship with these people. I think it's best that way. Like if that's how you truly feel that way, but away from me. Because that's something that you're never going to forget. Yes, she did apologize, but she, blamed it on the alcohol, which I feel is a cop out. And she never tried to apologize again or reach out again, which also is very strange to me. If I was in a situation where I hurt someone's feelings, talking about their children, and that we do too much and I need to be more American, which I have no idea what that means. Do you know what that means? I don't. Because as far as I'm concerned, being American is me. America is the melting pot of the world, right? We're a melting pot. So when we talk about being American is everyone that's here, not just white people, but everyone that's here. This is a place for everyone to have an opportunity to become the person that they want to be in their own lives. And so that really hit home for me about being more American. My mother came to this country so many years ago for a better life. And she's worked her ass off every day since. And she's done everything between her and my father. They have done everything they can for my brother and I to have the most amazing life possible, which we have.
How American is this, that your father is a veteran too, that served for America, for the United States. He's a Marine.
That's right.
And that isn't, that is something that people don't know, that how patriotic, how American your father and you guys have become. Like I said, that's a term, being more American. I myself, that I wasn't born here. I was born in Laos, but I grew up here and I feel appreciated. And like this, I'm an American. I was, man, I'm gonna be born here, but I've come here to believe like you and I are. We're part of this. So America is us. That's the most important. It's us all.
Yes, America. That is a perfect way to describe it. America is us. It is all inclusive. America is not supposed to discriminate against anyone. So yeah, you're right. My dad was a Marine. He served this country for over 30 years. My dad was in the Secret Service. My dad is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. So if that's not American, I don't know what is.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you get to share that, and now you get to share your children to tell the story about their grandfather and how amazing he is and who you are. So thank you for so much. Let's continue on.
Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I just shared a little bit of my story with interracial relationships, but there's a lot more there and a lot more to come. I'm a mom as well. And the reason that I wanted to start this podcast, not only is it to, bring light to some of these these situations and crazy ideas of how things or the world should be, but also to promote a healthy mindset for moms and to give encouragement to moms and to show them, like, you don't have to just be a stay-at-home mom. If you have a dream, if you have goals, there's a hell of a lot of ways you can get there. And I'm here to support you. And I just thank you guys for supporting me in that as well.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And once in a while, you get to see this crazy Madly Ocean pop in and out as her guest host, but she also has got other people as well too. But not this topic. I also love the fact that Dee is also going to talk about beauty tips and things to help you as a woman to look good and fabulous, being the queen that you guys are, the princess you are, whatever it is. Because I know that is her juicy topic that she loves to talk about. She's got amazing guests, so you guys stay tuned on Dee's Talk. I'm KP, and that is, who is that person right there?
Deventrya. Thank you for tuning in.
Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
I am on all social media sites, so please feel free to DM me with questions or experiences that we can discuss and work through together. If you'd like to be on my show and you have something amazing to share, don't hesitate to contact me.